Other thing that's a little weird, Z, we need to like address this for the group. I need you to like put good words on David Jiricek's name because people were freaking out on our YouTube comments. Like how stupid of a possibility it would be to trade Rossi for Jiricek. Like clearly this is just trolling for clickbait. Like there's no way that you would ever make a trade like that. And dude, fucking Russo on his podcast today flat out said like he's worried about Rossi being traded, but hey, maybe for a guy like Jiricek. And it's like, God damn it. Like, why don't people get it? Like, tell people why. I'm not saying we should trade Rossi for Jiricek, but explain to people why Jiricek is not a washed up garbage hockey player.
Well, I mean, there's a reason he got drafted where he got drafted. He's a 6'3", 200-pound right shot defenseman who like has a decent enough two-way game. But the offensive upside is ridiculous. He is a monster when he decides to be physical. But I mean, his AHL play since he's come over, like 2022, 23, 55 games, 38 points. Last year, 19 points, 29 AHL games. He also had 11 points in 14 AHL playoff games last year. And now he just like, obviously, I think part of it is like these young like European kids come over and just somehow are just like talking shit about the organization, and when they get scratched or like get sent down to AHL, which is like very funny to me. For whatever reason, I feel like almost every time that results in people being like, yeah, he's terrible. Fuck him. And like, so automatically, like people want to have an issue with him, but like he is a ridiculously good hockey player. He's a 20-year-old defenseman. You like, we talk about, I don't know why they would want to give up on Marco Rossi outside of them just not being convinced they should go long-term with him, which I think everyone's in the same boat. That being said, if they do trade him in mid-season, that is mind-blowing to me, considering the fact that he is one of the only guys close to a point per game outside of like Kaprizov. Like, so they're getting like they're a elite defensive team right now that cannot get any kind of secondary scoring whatsoever. He is producing no matter who his line mates are, including games where he gets stapled to the bench. They'll throw him out for a shift and he scores. It's like, why does Hines hate him?
Why does Hines hate him?
I can't help but wonder if part of it is literally like they know that I given how convinced Russo is at this point, and just like because I know Hines gave a long answer about Rossi that was like, yeah, this is good when he's on his game, blah blah blah, and then just carved him. Like it was weird. They're like, what, the kid that's what, is he third or fourth in the team in scoring right now? And again, it doesn't matter.
In 5-on-5 scoring, which he doesn't fucking play on the power play. So like,
yeah, I think he's 14 points, like 12 or at even strength. So again, if they're trading him, I hope it's not mid-season, because that to me makes no sense when you are just needing more scoring. Like, you know who's I think fifth or sixth on the team is scoring is fucking Jake Middleton. Like, I mean, you need more offense. So the idea that you're going to trade Marco Rossi and give up on this kid who quite literally has done everything that they've asked of him and more. I don't like, that's crazy to me, but I mean, given the fact they want to, once the buyouts are up, even though they've used a bunch of the money already, they want to make some offseason moves. They've got guys like Yurov coming over and they're convinced he's going to be a top six center for them.
It's just such a big, like, gamble. Like, he's got it.
And again, I can understand not wanting to go long-term with him right now.
Sure, but bridge him or whatever. But I'm with you. It's not happening during the season. Maybe it happens at the deadline if someone like gives you a deal you can't say no to. Yeah. Otherwise, this is a summer deal, and like anyone that watches Wild games doesn't want this trade to happen. But to your, like you just said it, if Russo keeps on bringing it up on a weekly basis, shit's happening. Like, he's gonna get traded. I'm convinced of it. There's no way he's not. When you have as good of a season so far as he's had, that's not saying he's had a flawless season, but like, what more can you ask of from this kid? And it's just sad. Like, I was so excited to see him like continue like building when everyone thought that he was already washed. And of course, everyone's saying that Jiricek's washed, just like those same people were saying that Rossi was washed 2 years ago. And now they're like, wait, no. He's really, really good. Why would we ever consider trading him?
Yeah, I mean, and there's also legitimately no evidence that David Jiricek is washed. He's just like they're not playing him in Columbus.
He's in fucking Columbus.
I mean, whatever. But of course, I think Jiricek has 1 point in 5 games. In the 5 NHL games he's played, I think it was an assist against the Wild, so which is also very funny. But yeah, I mean, again, if you're moving on from Rossi, you're not really bringing back anyone that's going to help you this season. If there is some kind of like weird mandate that they go out and get active in free agency next year, you can't afford whoever you bring back. If you are going to move on from Rossi, you probably aren't wanting to add a ton onto the salary cap. And I think Jiricek's on his ELC through next season. And again, he's a right shot D-man who's significantly different than all your other defensive prospects. Like, he is like a souped up version of David Spacek and much more of a sure thing than David Spacek. So, I mean, that kind of a move to me would be something like, if, again, this is assuming that they have decided that they're going to move on from Marco Rossi.
Right.
Like, again, they're probably not bringing back anyone that's making a ton of money. You can invest in a right shot D-man long term without adding onto the salary cap. And he's got legit crazy high upside, then that would be a fair enough target. It's weird that people were that mad. I never look at any of the comments or anything, so that's funny.
It was very strange.
I mean, so he's up for the weeks. That means they're reuniting Eriksson at Boldy Kaprizov, which was, in terms of just like even strength, production, and expected goals last year, a top 5 line in the league when they played. It wasn't a ton compared to other lines, I guess, but like enough.
Yep, and they're gonna have to score 4 goals a game or we're fucked.
Yeah, which means the second line was fascinating to me. What was it? Johansson, Rossi, Hartman.
Yeah, Joe. Yeah,
that feels like the definition of a hodgepodge. Like, fuck it line. They're like,
watch them go off.
And they're like, every time Marco Rossi scores, the fucking camera goes to Bill Guerin. He's like, fuck. God damn it. No, everyone else needs to score, not Marco.
No, if he's planning on trading him, why wouldn't you want him scoring?
Because he's just going to get carved when he does trade him. He's like, guys.
Because Bill Guerin's given 2 fucks about getting carved by anyone. As long as Leopold's happy with him, he doesn't give any shits at all.
Which, side note, one of my favorite ever mic'd up clips. It might be now that I think about it, it might be the only mic'd up clip I've ever seen between a fucking owner and a GM. So easily first was when they traded for Flower. Garrett just goes, "Can I use the private jet?" And Leopold goes, "Yeah." It's like, that clip is so funny, dude. Like, yeah, of course. It's just like, that is outrageous.
It's actually the only reason that he made the trade.
Imagine having a buddy like, "Hey, can I borrow the private jet?" They're like, "Yeah." What do you mean? Of course you can. That's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's a weird, like, Johansson, Rossi, Hartman is a very weird trio to me that could like be funny. And again, Marco Rossi is just like kind of producing regardless of who's playing with it at this point. Like, again, he got stapled to the bench and then thrown out in the 4th line. And was it, I think, Montreal game? He still scored. It's like, okay. So, beast.
You think
it's just weird how much of a leash he has versus some of the other players is so fucking weird to me.
It is well, and then you got the flip, which is Johansson, who like literally, no matter what happens, he's going to be in the top 6, and like, not even for a second will Hines or the front office hesitate. And on today's installment of Worst Seats in the House, of course, Russo and LaPanta go at it over Rossi and Johansson. And dude, at this point, I actually just respect the level of discipline that Anthony LaPanta has in backing Marcus Johansson. Like, it's I want someone to love me the way that he loves Johansson. Like, they're talking about, like, 5-on-5 numbers, whatever, and he's literally going off on how good Ek, Boldy, and Johansson's line has been. Like, I think 85% scoring chances, whatever. And the whole time he only mentions Boldy and Ek. Like, he's literally just a passenger. But he's like, you got to keep playing him when the numbers are this good. How do you not? And it's just fascinating to me that you can hold that strongly and not be like, maybe it's that Boldy and Eck are just that freaking good. Because it was an argument about like, oh, they're not scoring very much, but okay, they're also not getting scored on at all. Like, cool. You could throw Ogren on that line, and it's probably the same thing, except maybe there will be a little bit more offense. Like, I don't know. It was a fascinating development, but like the fact that as Russo laid out the easiest transition for LaPanta to agree with him and like not have it be like he's backing off of his boy and still just go full like, I don't know, you're not thinking about this right. I at this point, I respect it.
Yeah, I mean, you game recognized game. I love being a heel, so I love that. I'll say the same thing about Marcus Johansson. I've always said is he does do a lot of little things for a line that helps out, but in terms of like, he has 4 fucking points. I think it's 1 goal and 3 assists this season.
And
nothing is justifying him playing top 6 minutes.
You are a Marcus Johansson supporter, and I personally would be very Johansson neutral if not for trying to counterbalance what LaPanta has done the past 2 years. Like I'm literally just reacting.
Look
to
at what you've done to me.
Being like, you're too excited. Calm down. Moving forward, I'm gonna pretend that LaPanta's opinion of him doesn't exist, and I'm just gonna continue to be fairly neutral on who Marcus Johansson is. I don't dislike the player, but it's also crazy to like try and defend that he's more deserving of top 6 minutes than Marco Rossi. I can't stand by that.
Yeah, no, again, like I said, like he does a lot of little things to complement a line. He also, it's crazy how many chances he gets and just misses. There were a couple early ones, like the first 5 games of the year, that he legit just like whiffed. I think they scored immediately after one of his whiffs. And I think he got an assist for the whiff. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like, he's this guy. That was intentional. Totally on purpose. He whiffed on that puck and got a second assist for it. Yeah. Again, a lot of the things that he does really well is making life easy for his line mates in terms of just like using his speed and skill to finagle his way with the puck to the offensive or the neutral zone, offensive zone entries, all that stuff. But in terms of like generating offense, that's where, I mean, the last couple of years, that's where that's kind of ceased. And you absolutely have plenty of other players who could do that. As far as like justifying a spot in your top 6. Again, I love, as you said, I fucking love Marcus Johansson. I'll never say a bad word about him, but like I am obsessed now, not only with LaPanta's
obsessed with the obsession
dedication, but the team's like, what are we, 3rd or 4th line? What are you fucking high? No fucking way we're doing that. That guy, he is there, and that is where he lives. We are not changing at all. Marco Rossi, go play in the 4th line. Oh, he scored again? Fuck. All right. Well, still.
You know what I need? I need Marcus Johansson to have a sister who's getting married like middle of the season and have the team like literally get him a PJ to send him there.
Just see what happens. They play with 11 forwards. They go 7D. 11
and Rossi still doesn't play.
Rossi gets benched. He gets health bombed. He's like, why? What do you want me to do? My hands are tied. It's great.